Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our Women's Advanced Bible Study night, the 5th of September 2024. We'll be reading out of the book of Hosea and breaking it down. You can go to our YouTube channel, the Prophets of Awakening. We have over 1,000 videos or so that you can look at and examine the content and connect dots. So these videos have a lot of information and they connect dots for you and lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. And for those that want to support the channel, we have a cash app at the bottom of the screen. It'll be greatly appreciated. For those that has helped us in the past, that's greatly appreciated. So with that being said, I want to say we're going to go to our shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our Women's Advanced Bible Study. And for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah, Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament. It consists of our laws, statutes, our way of life as Hebrew Israelites. Okay, it was given to Moses by our God, is our Savior, Lord of Hosts. Okay, we're going to deal with a moment of silence, prayer, Psalms. We have some women's health. Then we have current events, some need to know information. Then we'll open it up for anybody that have any questions, comments, or any dialogue. Then we go into our topic, which is reading out of the book of Hosea. Okay, and breaking that down. Okay, this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts, and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we pray unto the Lord our God, and we make our confessions, O Lord. Great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us the confusion of face as it is this day, to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries where thou hast driven us. Because of our trespasses, we have trespassed against thee. O Lord, hear this prayer, cause thy face to shine upon the sanctuary and the people for your sake. O Lord, open thine eyes and incline thine ears to hear and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do, and defer not for thy own sake, for your people need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay, you want to read a song?
Shalom, everyone. I'm reading out of Psalms 102, verses 1 through 28. A prayer of affliction when he is overwhelmed and pour out his complaint before the Lord. Hear my prayer, O Lord, and let my cry come unto thee. Hide not thy face from me in the days when the day when I am troubled. Incline thy ear unto me in the day when I call. Answer me speedily. For thy days are consumed like smoke, and my bones are burned as an hearth. My heart is smitten, and within wither like grass, so that I forgot to eat my bread. My reason for the voice of my groaning, my bones cleave to my skin. I am like a peasant of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert, in which and I'm as a sparrow along upon the housetop. My enemies approach me all the day, and that are mad against me are sworn against me. For I have eaten ashes like bread, and mingled my drink with weeping, because of thy in,
Indignation.
indignation, indignation, and my wrath. For thou hast lifted me up and cast me down. 11. My days are like a swallow, a shadow that declines, and I am withered like grass. But thou, O Lord, shall endure forever, and thou rememberest unto all generations. Thou shalt arise and have mercy upon Zion, for the time to favor her. That ye the set time is come. For thou servants take pleasure in her stones, and favor the dust thereof, so that heareth
Heathen.
heathens shall fear the name of the Lord, and all the kings of the earth thy glory. When the Lord shall build up Zion, he shall appear in his glory. He shall regard the prayer of the desolate, and not despair their prayers. This shall be written for the generations to come, and the people shall be created, shall praise the Lord. For the hath looked down from the highest of the sanctuary, from heavens did the Lord behold the earth, to hear the groaning of the
Prisoner.
prisoner, to lose those that are appointed to death, to declare the name of the Lord in Zion, and his praise in Jerusalem. When the people are gathered together in the kingdom to serve the Lord, the weakened he weakened my strength in the way, he shortened my days. I say, O my God, take me not away in the midst of my days. Thy years are throughout the generation. 25. Of old hast thou laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of thy hands. Thou shalt perish, but thou shalt endure. Ye all them of them shall wax old like a garment, as a vesture shall thou change them, and thy shall be changed, but thou art the same, and thy years shall have no end. The children of the servant shall continue, and their seed shall be established before thee. I've read Psalms 102, 1 through 28.
Okay.
In in there, um, I want to know who is saying this. Several Daniel said in verse 9, verse 9, sorry, lost my page that quick. For I have eaten ashes like bread, and manged, mingled my drink with weeping. What's that about? Um,
That's whenever when they would fast and pray, or they get from when a true prophet would bring a prophet to them of judgment, then they would go and put on sackcloth and ashes. And so what you see right here, in, in the process of them having no sackcloth and ashes, they would throw dust on their head, throw the ashes out over them. So he got it, you know, in the process of that, he got it in his mouth. And then not only that, it says he was drinking. He says while it was mingled with the drink, while he's weeping.
So it's like his tears was the food or the drink.
Where it's all mingled up. They putting ashes on their heads. Like when I think it was yesterday I was reading that. Well, when Abraham when they thought that Joseph was dead,
Yes, sir.
they would just throwing ashes. They would in mourning they would put ashes on their put sackcloth on and throw ashes on their head and rub ashes out on their hair. It's a way of mourning. Matter of
That,
fact, that's what Daniel did in chapter 9 when Daniel saw that it was close to this. He looked at the book of Jeremiah. Let's look at it right quick. You go to the book of Jeremiah. You go to Daniel chapter 10, I think it is 9. Daniel 9, and then he says Daniel 9 in the first year of Darius, son of Artaxerxes, of the seeds of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. And then verse 2, in the first year of his reign. So right here, they was told when they went to Babylon by Jeremiah in the book of Jeremiah, he said, go to Babylon, serve Nebuchadnezzar, his son, and his grandson. And then they was going to be delivered. That was 70 years, right? So Daniel looking at this guy Darius that came from the Medes. In verse 1, it says 9:1. In the first year of Darius, son of Aarus, of the seeds of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. That so then verse 2, and Daniel looking at that. In verse 2, he says, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by a book. So he's looking at the books and he's seeing that the prophecy now already took place. That Jeremiah prophesied about Nebuchadnezzar, his son and grandson, because he got another man that's ruling over the Chaldeans. So he says, verse 2, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by the books the number of years, wherefore the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolation of Jerusalem. So he see now it's been accomplished. So in verse 3, and then now I set my face unto the Lord God to seek him by prayer and supplication. The supplication is what is involved in sackcloth and ashes and all that. Supplication with fasting and sackcloth, see that, and ashes.
yes,
See
sir.
it?
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Anybody else have anything on that? Okay, we go to our women's health moment.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. Please know that the information that is shared is intended for general, informational, and educational purposes only and is not medical advice or recommended treatment. Tonight's discussion is on nutrition. Nutrition is the process of providing or obtaining the food necessary for health and growth. It provides organisms with nutrients which can be metabolized to create energy and chemical structures. The subject of nutrition, as we think of it today, is not directly mentioned in the Bible. That is, the Bible doesn't talk about calories and the balance of fat, protein, and carbohydrates a person needs. Neither does it mention GMOs or the benefits of eating whole foods versus processed foods because the production of food had not yet been industrialized. The original diet which God planned for us to eat included green plants bearing seeds and trees bearing seeds. A careful evaluation of these verses tell us that our diet originally was supposed to include fruits, herbs, nuts, and grains. The Bible encourages us to care for our bodies, and good nutrition is naturally part of that. The Lord cares about our physical comfort and well being. Exodus 23 and 25. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. Food is fuel. It is not meant to be used purely for pleasure, or we could eat nothing but chocolate and cheese pizza and be healthy. Food is meant for nutrition and good health. Our bodies can be considered machines that carry us from place to place as we carry out the work that the Lord has planned for us. Jeremiah 29 and 11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, said the Lord, thought of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. An unhealthy body will make us slow and prone to illness and injury. Good nutrition is crucial for proper brain function and hormonal balance. Eating the right food contributes highly to our ability to think clearly and to our general quality of life. The Lord gives food to us as he does to the creatures of the animal kingdom. Psalms 147, verse 9. He giveth to the beasts his food, and to the young ravens which cry. The earth has been created to produce foods that are full of vitamins and minerals and amino acids that the body needs to survive and be healthy. Food is a gift from the Lord, it is his provision. Why do whole, raw, unprocessed food contain the most nutrition? Because they came right from the Lord's hand. Taking care of our bodies also involves rest and relaxation. The Lord designed us to require times of rest, as seen in Genesis 2, verses 2 through 3. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work, and which he had made. Excuse me. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. Taking time to rest and rejuvenate our bodies is not only important for physical health, but also for our spiritual well being. In summary, as Hebrew Israelites, we're called to steward the bodies the Lord has entrusted to us, recognizing that they reflect his image by making healthy choices, incorporating exercise, and prioritizing rest. We can better fulfill the purpose the Lord has for our lives and be equipped to serve him to the best of our abilities. I will be reading Psalms 100, Serve with Gladness, a psalm of praise. Verse 1. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. Tonight's discussion was on nutrition, and I read Psalms 100, Serve with Gladness. Shalom, everyone.
Okay, appreciate that information. We go to our current event.
It's finally here. Dozens upon dozens of U.S. companies are cutting their costs in 2024. You know what this means? Layoffs for the American people. That's right. This is really scary for individuals and families across the country. We've seen the data. Americans are not set up for financial emergencies. They don't have savings accounts. They have tons of credit card debt right now. Worst of all, they have one income stream, their job. This is not a good position to be in when layoffs strike. And yet, we got these new jobs numbers that just came out. And it was hilarious to watch the mainstream media do a song and dance about it. CNBC, when the breaking news came in with the new jobs numbers, it was hilarious. Hotter than expected jobs numbers. But they didn't take the time to do their homework. If they did, they would have seen that actually full-time employment has plummeted and secondary jobs, 2 jobs, part-time jobs have exploded. So what does that mean? Americans are losing their long-time full-time jobs, and they're replacing them with double payrolls, 2 part-time jobs just to make ends meet. And CNBC and the Biden administration were applauding that. Hey, we increased the number of payrolls in America. That's great. Oh, no, you're lying once again. 2024 is the year of the layoff right now, and things are going to get worse before they get better. We're going from quiet cutting to loud, blatant, widespread, aggressive cutting. Many U.S. companies have announced their plans to cut costs this year. They're telling you it is coming, okay? They've signaled it. CNBC reported that corporate America is announcing layoffs across the board. So it's amazing that CNBC can make that announcement and yet not put two and two together to see that long-term, full-time jobs are declining. This is in every industry imaginable. We're talking department stores, software, toys, cosmetics, airlines, media companies. Bloomberg as well reported layoffs from tech, retail, and more. Watch.
On October 19th, 2023, Wells Fargo warned its clients that all check
Former World Bank President Paul Wolfowitz once said about firing employees, that's unfortunately part of doing business. And there's a lot of that sort of business being done these days. Just ask the 3,000 people being laid off at Estee Lauder.
Cutting as much as 3,000 positions. We continue to see job cuts. This is part of a restructuring plan to put one of the world's largest beauty companies back on track. Many investors, as we know, would have said this was long in coming.
Or the 32,000 tech employees let go already this year, including 10% of those working at Snap.
Snap saying these cuts are being made to, quote, best position our business to execute on our highest priorities. It's been facing that deceleration in ad revenue, as have many of its tech peers.
Or the 12,000 people in management at UPS who are about to be shown the door.
And what they're really doing is looking at the structure of their networks, whether that is their labor network and then their management ranks. They're looking at their brokerage business. They've decided to put that under strategic review. What it is showing us is that they're taking a hard look at their costs. And, we would probably have to say UPS and some other large transportation companies have gotten fat over the years.
Not even those in the relatively new departments devoted to diversity, equity, and inclusion are immune, as we heard this week that Zoom is shuttering the entire operation and outsourcing it.
These companies are dedicated to cutting costs this year, and they're doing this whether they're profitable or not. There's no limit to what's happening here, and no one is safe. Here's what's behind the major layoffs happening this year. So inflation. Inflation hasn't been kind to anyone, and most people have less expendable income. So as consumers cut back on spending, corporations are feeling pressure from their shareholders to do the very same thing. And in years past, companies could get away with passing down higher costs to the customer. But because of inflation, resuming student loan payments, and other economic factors, people are simply spending less overall. Corporations cutting costs across the board to increase their bottom line. And the easiest way to do it is by mass layoffs. Technology, financial companies are at the forefront, but no industry is safe. Here are just a few examples. Macy's plans to close 5 major stores, cutting 2,300 jobs. JetBlue Airways, Spirit Airlines, huge staff buyouts. UPS cutting 12,000 jobs just months after reaching a union deal. Figure that, right? Paramount announced hundreds of layoffs. Maybe people are sick and tired of their woke content. Maybe you'll learn a lesson. Chipotle testing an avocado scooping robot to replace workers. Chipotle already rolled out different robots to deliver food to people. Chick-fil-A did the same thing. So now after you get your order, you sit at your table, a robot will bring it to you because, you know what? A lot cheaper than having a human being. And those are just a few examples right now. Outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas reported a total of 84,000 planned cuts in February alone. The firm's labor and workplace expert said, as we navigate the start of 2024 into the summer, we're witnessing a persistent wave of layoffs. And we're just getting started with the year of the layoff. We'll see how it ends up at the end of 2024. Your company is not loyal to you, guys. Remember that. No sector, no industry, no company or role is safe. Transportation, manufacturing, energy, food, manufacturers, media have all been affected. Heck, the same report announced that even education has announced more job cuts this year. Layoffs for teachers? Really? That's the most absurd thing I've heard since avocado scooping robot right now. But it's okay. The Biden administration just sent another $40 billion to Ukraine. We can help them. We are paying the pensions and salaries of their workers in Ukraine, by the way, just so you know. That's true. There's never been a more important time to take control of your finances in the United States because the government's not going to do it for you. Get out of high interest debt, diversify your income streams, and I hope that you've been listening to the messages that I've been sharing here on this channel, okay? Now more than ever is the time to take control of your financial future. Do it. The government keeps pushing this narrative that there's no recession. The unemployment numbers are low, yet layoffs for February, early part of 2024, are at the highest level since 2009, for crying out loud.
Okay, any comments on that?
This is Tasha. Of course, I always have something to say. So I said it to say this. So one, he sounds like someone that is on the left or the right, whatever the conservative side, that's pushing a lot of propaganda. That's the first thing, because he's very biased against the Biden and the Harris administration. The job market has been changing for years. He does not talk about or consider the fact that the market itself is changing. We have 5 generations of people in the workforce, and all of them have different needs, and they all have a different expectation. The younger people, the three generations that are behind the Generation X, have a totally different perception around working and how they work. The pandemic has changed the landscape about in the way in which people are working, and that hasn't really caught up and really been sort of solidified in the workforce, and they're still trying to wrestle with that. There's a lot of factors that he is not even talking about. And while all these things are changing, all these so-called layoffs and stuff is coming, these people, these corporations are still reporting record number of profits. So I don't want to hear anything about this inflation and all of this, when these companies are not losing money, they're actually making more money. And you only make more money when the prices are high. You're cutting jobs when you don't have to, because you don't want to pay the money out. So until there is a balance between what the companies are making, which is expected profits versus record profits, I don't even want to hear nothing he has to say.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. When you look at it, it's all by design. They tell you anything on there, but like I said, they bring this place down, and that's one of the ways to do it. Laying off people.
Yeah, and for their own pockets though. You remember when
Right.
we had those gas prices? They said that the gas companies in 1 year made profits they hadn't seen since the beginning of the gas. Us dependents on gas.
Right.
And that has not changed since the second Bush was in office.
Right.
It's an imbalance in the market, but yet you want to tell us as the government it's not. It's corporations. Corporations own the government.
Exactly. Right. They setting the stage. Okay.
Sh- Shalom. Would that be considered fear mongering? Trying to put that out there for people to, because they have a strike going on several different places like AT&T, and they're laying off some of their workers on UPS management, but it's not like everywhere, like you said, Tasha. They are making money, but they're trying to put fear into the people to do something. I don't know what they trying to get people to do, um, but yes, it's too much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's propaganda. It's propaganda
Yep.
to distract you from what they making. What's actually happening is they making record profits, and they distracting you by bringing you all this stuff about unemployment. And the whole time they making money, big money.
Yep.
Okay. So check this out right here.
An important point. To end the neo-colonial relationship between France and these African countries.
So what's going on with this video is what's happening in the African Union, which is equivalent to the UN in America. All these people, they starting to leave all these nations starting to leave the African Union, and they going and join with a guy in Buena Vista and Niger. They're leaving the African Union.
Yay.
This is what is happening in West Africa. A coup takes place in Niger. They remove whoever was president. ECOWAS decides to act against them, including up to the point of, say, even a military intervention. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But because of the way the matter was handled, you've now got 3 countries that have walked out of ECOWAS. It has weakened that regional body. Somebody was telling me the other day that Guinea-Conakry is going to join them.
Is it true that Guinea-Conakry want to leave ECOWAS and join the alliance of Sahel states? Those are not my words. Those are words of former president of South Africa, Mr. Thabo Mbeki. Welcome, kings and queens, to this powerful conversation from Thabo Mbeki. What I need from you, please watch this video till the end and share this video to other people. That's a great point inside this conversation. Welcome.
The matter that is being raised about good governance and so on the continent is correctly raised. What I would say about that now is that we are currently, there's a discussion going on, there's a process going on the continent to prepare for the election of the new commission of the African Union next year in February. And as you know, part of what the AU decided was that this position of chairperson of the commission should rotate among the regions, African regions. And so the region delegated the task to nominate the next chair candidate is East Africa. So the matter is with the East African region. What I would have expected is that the East African region would get together and say, who among us from East Africa would be the best candidate for this position of chairperson of the AU Commission? They haven't done that. Instead, you have candidates from Tanzania, from Djibouti, from Kenya, from Somalia, from...
Okay.
If you're not making $158,000 per year, but you'd like to, I strongly encourage you to start a bookkeeping business.
Where? Mauritius. 5 candidates from East Africa. And now you send all of these 5 names to the AU must decide which one. It's an incorrect approach. I'm mentioning it because it's actually a vitally important matter. Because there are many, many, many deficiencies with the current Commission of the African Union. And yet that commission has got a vital task in addressing exactly these matters that you raise about good governance on the continent. It's a body that should be the African Union. We have a whole multiplicity, I keep raising this thing of policies. The economy of the continent, the politics of the continent, war and peace, the gender question, women's, children's rights. There are policy positions of the African Union on all of these things. But there's no leadership to make sure that these policies are implemented, and that leadership should reside in that commission. So the election of a new chairperson of the commission is a matter of vital importance for the future of the continent. But the East African region is not giving us any candidate, except a fleet of 5 candidates. That's a particular struggle that we need to engage, including the issue about the selection of such a candidate. You can't just pop up and say, my name is Thabo Mbeki, I want to be chair. Why? Why must we elect you? I'm saying the very process of the election, we were raising issues about that. That these candidates, there needs to be a particular process, transparent. All of Africa can see it. Ask this person. Ask them about the policies of the AU. What do they know? The practices and rules and regulations and all that. So that by the time you say, we hereby elect you as chairperson, you're confident that you are electing somebody who's actually...
Well, so to make things short, what you're looking at is, like I said, the AU is equivalent to the United Nations in America. So the name that's coming up is the guy, Tory. This is one of the reasons why they're trying to kill him. So he's like fire, catching on to the whole, everybody, all the African people want him to be the new chairperson. So keep your eyes on that. Okay, any comments?
I think that's exciting. I'm continue to hear about all the great things that he's doing, but my concern is that they're putting all their eggs in one basket. To me, it's almost like they're repeating past things. They need to diversify their power. The guy in Senegal is also another good candidate, I think. But the way in which I don't know. I think it's a very delicate time right now. He's doing a lot. A lot of eyes are on him.
Right.
And if you take the head out, the body's it's going to die. They need to diversify their leadership across the continent, not just put all their hopes. I mean, I hear the things that the people are saying about him. They're calling him the savior and all of that. And you know how that kind of stuff can corrupt people.
Right,
And
exactly.
in the same breath, I'm concerned about, they're gonna do to him what they did to Gaddafi.
Exactly.
And what happened, it's been a while for them to come back together, recover after that. So that's my
Right.
concern.
Right. And another thing about that, don't forget about Dr. Aracana. Don't think she's not gonna pop up in this conversation. Okay. So here we go. This back to the gang thing. I ain't gonna let that go. So let's check this out.
Attention. Fox 31, the first to obtain these videos of alleged gang activity at Aurora apartment complexes. Mayor Mike Kaufman telling Fox News gangs have pushed out property management through intimidation and are collecting rent.
It's really like being held hostage.
Cindy was a prisoner in her own home. She's lived in this building at 12th and Dallas for years. This summer, when crime got worse, Cindy got cameras. Doorbell video shows a group of armed men forcing their way into her neighbor's home.
They will call me and say, I'm sorry, but we're not coming. We're not coming until it's a bad enough crime.
Alleged gang member Bernardo Raul Mata recently confessing to police that gang members are being instructed to shoot police officers.
Oh, this is coming to a town near you. This is definitely coming to a town near you. And for those of you who think it's not, you're wrong. Hello, everyone. My name is Rogan, and this is This Bahamian Gal. On my platform, I do social commentary and reaction videos. I encourage my audience to have private conversations in public. So there are multiple reports from residents in Aurora, Colorado, saying that Venezuelan gangs have taken over an apartment complex building, forcing residents out, threatening them, shaking them down. And for weeks now, many officials, high-ranking officials in Colorado, were saying that this is just not true. This is hyperbolic. People are making things up. I believe the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, said it was basically, the figment of someone's imagination, that none of this was happening. Well, National security has now confirmed that those individuals that you see inside of the video toting weapons at that apartment complex are in fact gang members of the TDA, the Tren de Aragua. And all of the people who were denying this, saying that people were exaggerating, being hyperbolic, running out basically, they look like fools. They have eggs on their faces. So we're going to talk about this today because you have these residents in Aurora who are taking to social media over and over because they are not getting the results, or they weren't until it started getting national attention. They weren't getting the results on the local level from their officials, from police officers. Police weren't taking it seriously. And so they were dealing with living in fear, not being able to take their children to parks, not being able to go outside, not being able to live in peace because of these thugs. The crazy thing to me is, and you know, we always talk about social media being so bad, right? And social media can be a cesspool, but I always maintain that social media really does have some strong points. And the strong point is that had there not been an alternative, if there weren't an alternative for people to voice their frustrations, to talk about issues that are going on in their community by just being able to pick up their cell phones and record a video and blast it out to the world, a lot of us wouldn't have known about what was going on in Aurora. I'm not in Aurora, a lot of you aren't. And we wouldn't have known about these thugs, these gang members shaking down residents or basically breaking into their homes with weapons. I mean, if you look at the video, this is so mind-blowing and so scary at the same time. Imagine you had a ring, what do you call those, the ring monitor on your door, on your doorbell, and you're seeing this stuff and you're at work. How terrifying must that have been for the individual who was now watching this on their phone? How terrifying is it for the other residents who are in there with their children? A lot of people are single parents inside that building, and you're seeing these guys coming up the stairs, and then you call the police and there's nothing being done, or you have your governor basically saying it's a figment of your imagination, as if you're stupid.
They left us there to die. This week, her pleas for help were finally answered, not by the city, but by Councilwoman Danielle Jurenski.
I think that politics is being played here with people's lives.
While APD and the city denied gang activity, Jurenski moved Cindy out of that apartment herself. For weeks, officers have told her their hands were tied.
What I am told is that police leadership put it out that no less than like 3 or 4 officers could respond to one of these complexes. I now have other property owners, other apartment complexes calling and telling me the same kinds of things.
Food is the biggest commodity over there.
Cindy says she survived the ordeal by staying quiet, giving them food and bed bug spray every night, praying she'd hear sirens.
So social media has definitely played its role in making this go viral, because had it not gone viral and gotten the attention that it got, this would have been swept under the rug. And I am of the firm belief that the reason why this is being downplayed so much is because we are in an election year, because Colorado is a blue state, because there is this protection over illegal immigrants who have broken the law by entering this country. Let's call a spade and stop being so politically correct about these things that we do so to our detriment. You have law-abiding citizens and residents in that state of Colorado who are being terrorized. They are petrified to go outside their homes. It was reported by many people that these gang members have seized multiple complexes. Now, the building that you're seeing on the screen over here, apparently everybody was removed and there was a gate or a fence put up to block people from going in there. But let me tell you something about gangs. They're like roaches. So you can close off one place all you want. It's not like they're going to be like, well, that was fun, let me go get a job. They're just going to move to another building and another building. So if you don't keep the pressure on these gangs to get out of this area or to arrest these people, if you catch them engaged in wrongdoing, they're only going to move to another territory. And this is why I say, for those individuals who think that, oh, this is all the way in Colorado, it never come here, or I don't have to worry about that, you better think about the border crisis. I always think about how people smugly sat back when Texas and California were going through like the worst times. Let's talk about Texas, because its governor was constantly talking about the need to shore up the border, to secure the border, because they had an influx of immigrants coming in and they were causing problems. There are people in New York, there are people in Washington, D.C., there were people all over who were like, oh, well, that's not our problem. Oh, Texas needs to be a little bit more sympathetic. Texas needs to be a little bit more sympathetic. Oh, you're doing this to the people who are fleeing their homelands because they're in such dire straits and they just want an opportunity. Okay, easy to say when the person ain't infiltrating your house, when they're not infiltrating your home. But the minute they started being bused to these sanctuary cities, these other cities other than Texas, then you saw a change in attitude. It was like, oh, we got to get them out of here. They're running over the place and they da-da-da-da-da. Oh, now you get it. So don't sit back wherever you are and think that what's happening in Aurora is not coming to your neighborhood, because, darling, it is. Child, let's take a listen to some of the TikToks of people who are speaking out about this.
How is it that the government gets calls about it, the mayor gets calls about it, the cops gets called about it, everybody and their mama that has a badge does not want to touch this group with a 10-foot cattle prod? This tells me somebody signed off on this. Somebody said, okay, you can go to Aurora and do this, and ain't nobody gonna really be none the wiser. Because I guarantee you, if it was any other group doing that in Aurora, best believe they would have had 500 SWAT trucks in an hour.
I am also questioning how these individuals were allowed to run rampant, and police were notified time and time and time again, unless they are afraid. And if they are afraid, there are people they can call for backup. They don't have to be afraid in their own city. They're afraid to go up against these gangs. But you don't just kind of fold your arms when people are calling saying they're petrified. And I feel like whoever is heading up their police squad or division or whatever you call it, they need to be held to account, because there's no way the people who are paying your salary, the civilians, should be living in fear in their own town.
This whole Venezuelan gang thing is a bigger deal than they're making it, because I just heard about this week that's happening in Colorado. But I just saw a video from the 18th that's damn near 2 weeks ago that's happening in New York. Police officers getting shot at. And then I'm hearing that this is happening in Chicago, this is happening in Texas, and it's all gang-related activity. And Trump just said that Venezuela is getting rid of their criminals, and that makes more sense to why Venezuela closed off their borders, because when those criminals make it to the border, because of the migrant plan that Kamala and Joe Biden did, it makes them, instead of sending them away, they put them on a bus and send them somewhere else, deeper into the country. And I'm like, what are the governors doing? Where's Joe? Where's Kamala? Like, you guys have an administration to run. Hello, wake up. And the fact that you're not seeing it on the news as much as they push all this other fake news, if this is fake, I still want to know about it, because I live in Chicago.
So that got cut off, but I guess he lives in Chicago. That's what it sounded like he was going to say. And this individual is right. How is it that we weren't hearing about this stuff? It only started, for me, I started seeing it on TikTok, and I was like, hey, what's going on here? And then every media outlet that was reporting it, it was like a major downplay. And I'm like, but hold on, I'm looking at video. Now I know we got AI out here and things can be doctored, but okay, you got this video, and then you got a plethora of videos on TikTok of people saying, I live in Aurora. This is happening. People doing little tours to show you all the people hanging outside. And it was like, how is all this happening and no one is saying anything?
The three most popular characteristics when choosing a holster for your everyday carry are...
Shalom. I'm wondering where they're getting all the weapons from. And they're saying they're walking around with weapons and threatening these people. I pulled it up and saw just a picture of them standing outside their home with the apartment complex with posters. But the people that she mentioned are illegal immigrants coming over. Where would they get all these weapons from? And how would they target apartment complex when they don't know the people? They don't know really the language that good, so I'm not understanding. But they say it's happening, so I'm just wondering where would they get the weapons, and how would they know to target certain areas? And if the cops are not coming, the policemen are not coming, she said she think they're afraid of them. But what make them? They have to have over 1,000 people all together in unity to do this. Because cops can bust up a riot in a moment, but they can't do anything to the gangs.
There's no
Yeah,
such thing as a border crisis.
right. Okay.
There's no border crisis. This is intentional. If there are, and I mean, I've been hearing about the gangs in Colorado as well. But there is no border crisis. If it was a true border crisis, they would have passed a bill or they would have done something. Previous administrations, whether it was Republican or Democrats, it's a talking point. And the one thing I do agree with the young lady that was speaking on the video is regards to the fact that it's an election year. And what did Donald Trump say? I'm not really Republican or Democrat, but I'm independent. I lean Democrat just for because it's a choice. It's this side or the other. So I'm a lean Democrat. But there is no border crisis. A crisis is something that somebody defines something as based on the way that situation is affecting them or the benefit they get from it, so they define it. It's not a crisis. If it was a crisis in our borders, it wouldn't just be one. It's to someone's advantage to villainize the people that are coming in this country. And are some criminals getting in? Yeah, they are. But if they really wanted to stop it, they would have. Like they stopped the Black Panthers and any so-called black militant group that was rising up in this country in the 60s and the 70s. They know what to do. There's somebody's benefiting from this.
Right.
That's,
Exactly.
yeah.
Shalom,
Same,
I agree with you.
right. Same thing with the so-called inflation. Same thing.
Yeah.
Government behind government hands handprint all over it.
Yep.
And as far as how they getting the weapons, same way the militia over in Africa getting
Yep.
same way Ukraine getting same. That's how they getting them the same way.
Yeah. They sell them to them. And if there's a border crisis, there's also a domestic terrorist crisis that they're also not doing anything about. These people are marching in the streets with AR-15s and other weapons of war in the street, and they changed the law to say that they can. They changed the law to make it easier for them to carry the weapons in the street. And now you got this baby that killed somebody down here in Georgia, 14 years old, and took the life of 4 people. And the person that's over that county, they got him all over the news now with his what do you call it? His stump speech or whatever his advertisement he was doing. He was running for election where he was promoting himself with an AR-15 in his video. So the people in power know exactly what's going on. They're playing these checker games and moving these pieces around, but they're not gonna be able to control what's coming.
Right. Exactly.
It's not
Right.
gonna work
Right.
the way they think. Go ahead,
Right.
baby. I'm sorry.
Right. It's an old problem. It's an old
Tactic.
yeah tactic they've been using. It's called the halogen dialectic, where you create a problem and then just let it go until the people get to the point where they crying out for help for a solution, and the whole time you had a solution because you
Right.
created the
Because you
problem.
created the problem.
Right.
Yep.
And they do it all.
Yeah.
They do it all. Like 9/11 is a prime example.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
they put them in locations. So Colorado is a predominantly Caucasian state. I'm not saying there's nobody there, but the percentages are very low. So if you have this going, so it's an election year, so you're gonna have these people who they're gonna pay attention to that. But when you talk about
Caucasian.
Chicago, right? When you talk about Chicago, though, you mix them in like they did everybody else when these people were getting asylum and stuff like that. Refugees coming, where they put them? Put them in the black community. And then when these
Right.
people get together, these different cultures that don't mix well, and they wasn't given any kind of transition in order to set them up for success, there's conflict. So we don't trust them, they don't trust us. And so again, that was the strategy with sending these people to so-called blue states and putting them in black communities and then giving them resources and stuff they're not giving the people who live here. They're not doing that for everybody, but but they want to put that out there that somehow that's going on with all the immigrants coming in this country. No, it's not.
Right. So like I said last night, it's going to backfire. Let's check this out.
Yep. They're not smart enough to do it the way that it's successful. If it was, they would have already done it.
Right.
If you have
This was today. Matter of fact, this video it came out today.
Here, check it out. Sitting over here in the Freedom Office. Last night I was talking about a bill done put together for Memorial 3 gun. We are almost complete with that, and I've got the mock-up right behind me. It's going to be pretty nice. Waiting on a couple other little items to come in. I'm not so sold on it. It'll see what we'll see how it operates. In other words, that's exactly the way it's worded. How it operates. Yeah, so in any case, picture of it right here. Boom. Hey, listen, last week, or was it earlier this week, we were talking about the guys over there in Aurora, Colorado. The apartment buildings are now being run by the Venezuelan gangs. And, there's a lot of the people who are sitting there going, well, no, not really. Yeah, really, they are. And the reason they are is because they're being allowed to do so. And my initial thought was, these guys are going to run into the wrong people.
There we go.
I mean, when I say wrong people, I'm talking about people like you and me who are capable of defending our own. And this is the reason why we have the Second Amendment, guys. Foreign and domestic, right? And as far as I'm concerned, the current administration doesn't do shit, and the liberal, sanctuary cities, they don't want to do anything either. And secondly, they're just too damn scared to do anything. Here comes Chicago, right? Chicago's trying to mark it down like, oh, no, this is not happening. This is not happening. Bullshit, it's happening. And the wrong people to fuck with, and excuse my French because I know Chicago. Matter of fact, I went down to Hyde Park one day, and those guys were so awesome. They offered to hold my wallet, my backpack for me. It was everything. And I just happened to say no. Well, anyway, good folks in Chicago. I worked in the loop there at the Dirksen building, if anybody knows what that is. But there's an article right here from the guys over at the Times of India. And honestly, I can be honest with you, they're the only ones that are really telling the truth. And they've got a video from this guy, and I want to play it right now for you.
All Venezuelans in Chicago.
Here we go.
This is the water. If you ain't on no bullshit, stay neutral. Somebody please translate. This ain't Colorado. This ain't Utah. This ain't none of them places. This is just like where you from. The only difference is y'all use a lot of handgun, old revolvers, and machetes and shit. We got switches. If you're not familiar with what a switch is, we will show you. We will definitely show you what a switch is. So, again, somebody translate. Yeah, make this known. This ain't like Colorado. I'm just saying.
Okay, so that gentleman speaks the truth. One thing I know is you don't mess with family, and you don't mess with the gangs of Chicago or the gangs of New York. Who's more powerful? I don't know. But I will tell you this, these jackasses are going to mess with the wrong folk. Let's talk about this. A purported audio of a 9/11 call has been viral, claiming that a Venezuelan gang of 32 people took over an apartment complex in Chicago. Hey, listen, the minute you let these guys in the door, the same thing as the minute you let these guys across the border, this is what happens. This is the sick part about things. The reported call was made by the residents of the apartment on 6124 South King. Car says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing in the building and now showing guns. Well, I love the fact that this guy says we got switches. Don't count on these guys to not have switches either, man. This guys know how to run a 47 better than anybody. They're showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. All stairwells are filled, the caller said, and according to the reports, the officers were unable to apprehend any subjects matching. You'll know, let me tell you, some Chicago residents post-warning to Venezuelans taking over Chicago. This ain't Colorado. This is just like where you're from. The only difference is we got switches. That's pretty cool. And he says, yeah, somebody translate. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This will be a war. These guys are going to mess with the wrong folk, and that's it. Go down south to Florida, and your ass going to get thrown in the swamps and eaten by the swamp gators. Or if you go to Louisiana, you're going to be fed to the pigs. Colorado's police and the apartments have not been taken over. There's a gang called the Tren de Aragua, if I'm pronouncing that right. Colorado Governor Jared Polis, to dismiss the news, said it was imagination. That's what I'm getting at, man. Oh, I guess the people who were migrating across the border pleasantly was imagination as well. Now, guys, we're going to be speaking Spanish here for too long. Boys are going to be brought up. They're going to be running into the people. They're going to be running into the wrong person, the person who totes a gun, because we have this thing called the Second Amendment. We carry guns where we go. And if you don't carry a gun, guess what? You better, because you were going to be the victim of your so-called liberal movement of allowing an open border. Oh, the border's secured. No, it's not. This is not an immigration thing. This is a border security thing. Why are we putting up with the Venezuelan illegals taking over apartment complex? Why is this still an issue? Where's the National Guard? Pro-Trump activist Charlie Kirk, posted on X. Elon Musk, too, shared a post on Chicago, said, first they did this in Aurora, Colorado, and now Chicago. Time to move to the country. Y'all let me know what your thoughts are down below.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Propaganda. Look at how the terminology that they use to describe the different groups of people. The black people who he obviously had, I don't know if he was paid to say that or what, because I can't see those two groups of people even talking to each other. That's first. Second is, you call them gangs, and what image do we come in your mind when you think about when somebody calls somebody a gang or a gang of people, right? Then when the Venezuelans, they're gangs, they're thugs, criminals, they use negative terms with them, but when referring to themselves, they're militia. The Second Amendment, somehow what they're doing there is justified. There's the right thing is behind them. Their cause is justified. It's sort of like the what do you call it, when they went overseas and invaded all those countries in the name of religion, the crusades.
Right.
Whatever they're doing and their tactics is somehow justified, and everybody else is in the wrong. They want those people, they want to set a match. They have not been able to initiate one with us the way that would you know what I'm trying to say, um, the kind of chaos that they want in order for them to kind of claim martial law or to try to lock down the country so that they can reorganize everything in a way that they remain in power or get more power than they already have. So now the next wave is it's immigration, it's villainizing these people who are trying to come here to find a way of life, majority. Uh, even though it is illegal, they're coming here and they're villainizing these people, calling them criminals and all this kind of stuff. And when you had an opportunity to do something, you have not done anything. He was the president for 4 years. He did nothing but talk about it. There is no wall there. And if it is a wall of any part that he built, how effective is it?
One of these
Let's talk
people,
about the effectiveness of what it is that you have done. That you have done nothing because it's a talking point to try to push your agenda.
Shalom. You hit the nail on the head right there. They the way they're looking, that they would have them combat against each other and see who outweighs. Um, just they're ready to fight. They're getting others to get ready to fight. They're gonna lay back and see what happens, and then come out on top.
Yeah, divide and conquer is what they've always done.
Right, they pushing for civil war. They, the powers that be, they knew that the militia was gonna come out, and they knew that the gangs was gonna come out. They already knew that when they let those people through the border, they knew, and they knew what those Venezuelans were gonna do when they got here. Exactly what they doing. So it's all pre-planned, and it's playing out just the way they want it.
And that's why these laws, people keep saying, I don't understand why we have laws that allow for somebody to carry weapons of war, talking about hunting. That's not what they're prepared for. They're not prepared for no hunting season. They're preparing for an imagined civil war. And it's not gonna go the way they think it is. It's just not.
Exactly. Right.
But okay.
Right. Anybody else got anything on that? Okay, so with that being said, we'll go to we're going to read out of the book of Hosea, read a few chapters, and then we'll break it down and we'll close out. Somebody want to read chapter 1 of Hosea? Then we'll just go around like that.
I'll read, but I can't start. I gotta pull it up. So I'm looking for it now. Unless you want to give me a second.
I'll read chapter 1.
Okay.
Hosea's unfaithful wife. Okay, it says, the word of the Lord that came unto Hosea, the son of Beri, in the days of Uzi, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel. The beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea. And the Lord said unto Hosea, Go, take unto thee a wife of whoredom, and children of whoredom, for the land hath committed great whoredom, departing from the Lord. So he went and took Gomer, daughter of Deblin, which conceived and bore a son. And the Lord said unto him, Call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and I will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. And so you got to keep in mind, I don't know if anybody figured that out yet, but Israel was divided. You had the southern kingdom, which was Judah, and then you had the northern kingdom, which is Israel. A lot of people don't know that. So right here, when he says in verse 4, the Lord said unto him, Call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehu, and I will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. So that's not all the 12 tribes. That's the 10 tribes. What these so-called people are always talking about, the lost 10 tribes. Well, 10 tribes is what he gave to Jeroboam when he split the Israel up. Right? So when you see Israel, he's talking about the 10 tribes. So it says, and it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. And she conceived again and bore a daughter. And God said unto him, Call her name Laruma, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. So right here, when he says he's gonna take them away, this when they went to Assyria. But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah. See that? The house of Judah is Benjamin, Levi, and Judah. That's the kingdom of Judah. And you got the kingdom of Israel, which is so-called 10 lost tribes, right? Say, I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and I will save them by the Lord. 2 baskets of figs. Go back to that. It says, I will save them by the Lord their God, and I will not save them by the bow, nor sword, nor by battle, or the horses, nor by horsemen. Now when she had weaned Lemura, she conceived and bore a son. Then said the Lord, Call his name Lamina, for ye are not my people, I'm not saying that name right, but it says, I'm not pronouncing it right. For ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sands of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. Then shall the children of Judah and children of Israel be gathered together and appointed themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. So what I want to show you right here, they went into captivity with the Babylonians, right? I told you how the Assyrians came, took the 10 tribes to Assyria. Then Nebuchadnezzar came and took the Judah to Judah, Benjamin, Levi to Babylon. So they all in Babylon. So right here, like I said, this is not talking to us. So you go to verse 11, and he says, then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel, see that? All of them came back. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together, appointed themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. So this is the deliverance when they came out of Babylon. Right here, what Hosea is talking about. He ain't talking to us. So you say, what are you talking about? He says they're gonna come together and have one head, and they shall come out of the land. So they gonna come together one head. So what's that head? Let's go look at it. Like I said, all these minor prophets was in Babylon. They came out of Babylon with Zerubbabel. So let's look at that right quick. So we in the book of Haggai, and you'll see what I'm talking about. He said they're gonna come together and appoint themselves one head, right? So here you go right here. I'm in Haggai chapter 1. It says, in the second year of Darius, right? Remember what I just read in Daniel. It says, in the first year of Darius, Daniel looked at the books and saw that the 70 years was up. Same thing right here. In the second year of Darius, the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel. They go to one head. Hello?
I'm sorry.
This the one head right here. Zerubbabel. He had David's lineage. He's the king. He's the king. He's a king in waiting. Right? So it says, and Zerubbabel, the son of Sethel, see that? Governor, which is king. Governor, king of Judah. See that? And Joshua, the son of Josadak, the high priest, saying. So these are two anointed ones. One out of David's lineage and the other one out of Aaron's lineage. King is the one head that's over all of them. King is over the whole nation of Israel. So you go to one head right here that Haggai is talking about. Let's read it again. Haggai chapter 1, verse 11. Then shall the children of Judah and, see that? They tell you 10 tribes were lost. Then shall the children of Israel and the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head. That's Zerubbabel right there. And they shall come up out of the land, for it shall be the day of Jezreel. So let's show you that. I'm gonna show you that day of Jezreel. Go to Ezra. Notice where I gotta jump all around, because it's what these clowns did to us. So here we go. We're in Ezra chapter 1, verse 1. Now, in the first year of Cyrus, this is the prophecy being fulfilled by Daniel that I just read. Now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, see that, might be fulfilled. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it in writing, saying, thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth. So that means Assyria too. You got Judah that's in with the Chaldeans that's in Babylon, but you also got the 10 tribes that's in Assyria. All these is under Cyrus' control. So he says in verse 2, thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build them a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judea. Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the other one. 3, who is there? Look at this. Who is there among you of all? See that? All his people. See that? Ain't no 10 lost tribes. His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build a house of the Lord God of Israel. He is God which is in Jerusalem. Now here you go. Whosoever remaineth in the places where he be sojourned, let the men of his place help him with silver and gold and with goods and with beasts, besides the freewill offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. What you reading right here is the exact same thing gonna happen now. Read it again, verse 4. Whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place, the people, these Mexicans, the white Chinese, when the time comes, the Lord hosts capable of doing that. He says, and whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver, with gold, with goods, beasts, besides the freewill offering for the house of the Lord God of Jerusalem, right? Then 5. Then rose up, here we go. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests, the Levites, with all of them whose spirit, see that? Everybody's spirit ain't gonna be raised. Whose spirit God had raised, go up and build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, gold, goods, beasts, and with precious stones, besides that was willingly offered. Also, Cyrus, king of Persia, you go to one head right here, I'm going to show you. Also, Cyrus, king of Persia, brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem. This is the day of Jezreel, what I just read. Which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem and had put them in the house of his gods. Now here you go. Even thus, those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mitra, the treasurer, and numbered them unto Sheshbazzar. See that? He got a captive name, but he a prince of Judah. That's the one head right here. I'm gonna show you who that is. 9. And this is the number. So he tell you all the stuff he gave him, right? So who is this man right here? Sheshbazzar. Daniel's name was changed, right? To Belteshazzar. Zar is the name of their God. That's why Nebuchadnezzar. And then Lord of Hosts is Nebuzaradan. They got the name of their God in them. So when they went to Babylon, just like they did over here with us, they changed their names. So this the prince, this the one head. This the Messiah that's in Daniel 9:25. He says, they numbered him unto Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah, right? He out of David lineage. So who is this? Go to chapter 2, verse 1. You go to Day of Jezreel right here. Now, these are the children of the providence, right? It's 172 providences that that Cyrus controlled. These are the children of the providence that went up out of the captivity of those which have been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, everyone unto his city. Now here you go. Which, remember what Hosea just said, they're going to come together and appoint one head, right? Which came with Zerubbabel. There he is. Zerubbabel, this the guy he gave all the gold to. Sheshbazzar. That's Zerubbabel's captive name. In verse 8. And so chapter 2, verse 2, which came with Zerubbabel. Then here go the high priest, Joshua. There go Nehemiah. See that? All these of the prophets that was minor prophets with him. That's the day of Jezreel. Already happened. So anyway, let's go back over here. They want to show you that. So, like I said, ain't no lost 10 tribes. So if you trying to put the damn Indians over here, the Indian Israelites, that kill it right there. You deal with it, you put it in a bag, whatever you want to do with it. So anyway, chapter 2. Anybody want to read chapter 2? Or want me to read it?
I can try to read it. I ain't gonna be able to say these names right, so forgive me on that.
Yeah, just do the
Chapter
best you
2.
can.
Okay. Say ye unto your brethren, Amite, and to your sisters, Ruah, plead with your mother, plead for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of sight, out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts. Lest I strip her naked and send her as in the day she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredom. For their mother hath played the harlot. She that conceived them have done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flex, find my oil and my drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up the way with thorns and make a well that she shall not find her paths. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she will not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for that was it better with me than now. For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they had prepared from Bala. Therefore I will return and take away my corn in time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flex given to cover her nakedness. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. I will also cause all of her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. And I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she hath said, these are my rewards from my lovers have given me. And I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And I will visit upon her the days of Balaam, wherein she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, said the Lord. Keep going.
Yeah. So go all the way to 23.
Okay. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her vineyards from this thus in the valley of Anchor for a door of hope. And she shall sing therefore as in the days of her youth, as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Isha, and shall call me no more Bala. For I will take away the names of Bala out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow of the sword and battle of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment, and in loving kindness and in mercies. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith the Lord, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, thou shalt hear Jezreel, and I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that have not obtained mercy, and I will say to them which will and I will say to them which were not my people, thou art my people, and they shall say, thou art my God.
Okay, so like I was saying before, it's showing you how much we've been brainwashed is. This is just like Daniel. Daniel prophesied in the book of Daniel was before the book of Ezra, because Ezra is telling you Cyrus came. Daniel is prophesying that Cyrus is gonna come. So the book of Ezra go behind Daniel. The same right here. This is talking about the captivity of Israel and Babylon when they're gonna come out of Babylon. So why is it way back here behind all these other books? It's behind Jeremiah. When all this goes in front of Jeremiah. We got it behind Jeremiah. So let's look at it. It says, "Say ye to your brethren, Hosea 2:1. Say ye unto your brethren, Amina, and to your sister, Aruma, plead with your mother," right? We're going to look at this because this the blueprint right here. Lord of hosts, change not. So it says, plead with your mother, right? Plead, for she is not my wife. So he divorced from her right here. When he sent her to Babylon, he was divorced from her. He divorced from us right now with the curses. He gave us a bill of divorcement. Ain't nothing new under the sun. So now, like I told you about the harlot, about the woman, Israel is the woman. This is the real woman right here. But it's a harlot that's controlling the four beasts. It's a fake woman over there in Israel. We're looking at it over there right now. So none of this ain't in the New Testament. That's how we know it ain't real. So anyway, he says, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts. Then he go, lest I strip her naked and set her as in the days that she was born, when they came out of Egypt. Right? When Israel, the nation of Israel was born in Egypt. Was born in Egypt. So it says, lest I strip her naked and set her as in the days that she was born, and make her as a wilderness. So there go the wilderness. Negroes hollering about, we ain't no wilderness. We leaving straight from here, going back to the land of Israel. No, we ain't. Right here, it says, to make her a wilderness and set her like a dry land and slay her with thirst. So let's deal with that. So the nation of Israel, this woman is the nation of Israel, right? Specifically, the men of Judah, the men of Israel. So it says, I will make her as a wilderness, right? And set her like a dry land and slay her with thirst. So he said, what are you talking about? Well, let's go over here to Isaiah right quick. Isaiah, I go here all the time. Isaiah chapter 44, 1 through 5. It says, yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant. We know that Israel is the servant, the suffering servant. O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, right? O Jacob, my servant, thou Jezreel, whom I have chosen. Here we go, right here. For I will pour water upon them. See that? There's nothing new under the sun. He did the same thing over here. He says in verse 3, lest I strip thee her naked, set her as in the days that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and I shall slay her with thirst. That's the same what we at right now with these curses. So he says in Isaiah 44:1, yet hear now, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus said the Lord, that made thee, formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jezreel, whom I have chosen, For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty. Who made us thirsty? He took away the knowledge. He did. Same thing he did over there, right? He says, thirsty and floods upon dry ground. As we just read that. And I will pour my spirit upon thy seed. See that? Got nothing to do with no New Testament. No Gentiles. And my blessings upon thy offspring. See that? And they shall spring up as among grass, as willows by the water course. We're looking at that. Right. 5. One shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. So we seeing this happening. So if you ain't doing this, then what did it tell you? You're in dry land. You're still a dry land. You're still full of thirst. If you ain't woke up, you ain't Spirit of the Most High ain't poured out on you, and you found out you're an Israelite, and you surname yourself by the name of Israel, you're still in the dry land. You should be worried. Okay? So anyway, let's keep going. Verse 4. And I would not have mercy. Check it out. It's the blueprint upon their children, for they be the children of whoredom. For their mother have played the harlot, and she have conceived them that done shamefully. For she said, I will go away. I will go after my lovers. I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water. See that? And my wool and my flax, my oil and my drink. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up the way with thorns and make a wall that she shall not find her path. That's what we at now. He done hedge up a wall. We don't know where the hell what we supposed to be doing. He did the same thing. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up the way with thorns and make a wall that she know not to find her path, and she shall follow after her lovers. That's what we're doing now. The Vine Nine and the Boule and all these Negroes and the Gentiles following after them, right? But she shall not overtake them, and she shall seek them, but she shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband. That's the Lord of hosts. For then was it better with me than now. That's what we're finding out. 8. But she did not know. Here you go. It's big right here. But she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. So what are you talking about right here? For she did not know. None of the Israelites. They caught up with JC. For she did not know that I had gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her with silver and gold, which they prepared not. So let's go look at it. Go to Genesis. Genesis, I think it's 22, if I'm not mistaken. You won't find it. Okay, so it's get it. Okay. Yeah, here you go. It says 27 and 30. Verse 30, I'm starting at verse 30. This is when Jacob and Esau received their blessings. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, name was changed to Israel. That's who we are. The woman, Jacob, right? And Jacob was yet scarcely gone out of the presence of Isaac, his father, that Esau, his brother, came in from his hunt, right? And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn, Esau. And Isaac trembled very, very exceedingly. Check it out. Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, "Oh, who and where is he that I have taken?" Check it out. It's what the Lord was talking about right here. Where is he that I have taken venison and brought it to me, and I have eaten all before thou camest, and I have blessed him, yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried. This is why we catching hell right now because of this. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, "Bless me, even me also, O my father." Now here you go. And he said, "Thy brother came with subtlety, and he have taken away thy blessing." And he said, "Is it not he rightly named Jacob? For he have supplanted me these 2 times, and he took away my birthright, and behold, now he have taken away my blessings." And he said, Isaac said, and he said, Esau said, "Hast thou another blessing reserved for me?" And Isaac answered and said unto him, "Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and with oil have I sustained him. And what shall I do unto thee, my son?" They go to corn and oil right there. Right? So let's go back over here. So he says, Hosea chapter 2, verse 3, verse 9 says, "Therefore will I return and take away my corn, take away the corn in time, therefore, and my wine in the season thereof, and I will recover my wool and my flex given to cover her nakedness." See that? So that's when he gave it to her through Isaac. When you understand how a blessing is, the Lord of hosts comes in, overshadows to enter into, like he did with Balaam, enter into Isaac. And Isaac, through Isaac, he gave him the corn and the wine. Okay? So right here he says, because they rebelled against him, therefore will I return and take away the corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and I'll recover my wool and my flex given unto her nakedness. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. See that? So like I said before, just give you another understanding of what nakedness is. Israel is the woman. A man's nakedness is his wife. So let me read it. "Therefore will I return," it's the Lord of hosts talking, he the husband. "Therefore will I return, take away my corn in the time thereof, my wine in the season thereof, and I will recover my wool and my flex given unto her nakedness." See that? A man's wife is his nakedness. So 10, "And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. And I will also cause all her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts." That's what we at today. Solemn feast, the new moons, all that to cease. Like I said before, you can't tie JC to this. 12, "And I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, wherewith she have said, These are my rewards that my lovers have given me, and I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And I will visit upon her the days of Balaam, wherein she burned incense to them." And so that Balaam, I told you that I am on the internet is plural. So these gods, these gods, fallen angels, wherein she burned incense to them. See that? That lets you know Balaam is plural. "And she decked herself with her earrings and with her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me," says the Lord. So I want to give you a friendly reminder. Isaiah chapter 3, the daughters of Zion, right? "And I will visit her in the days of Balaam, wherein she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with earrings, see that? With jewels. And she went after her dogs. Okay. Anyway, now, this is my point I want to get to. Israel, Hosea is prophesying. They're going to go into captivity. It's the Babylonian captivity. And then he says they're going to come back out and bring them out. Here you go right here. Israel is restored. Not this ain't talking about now. They going into Babylon captivity, and he's going to bring them out. It says 14. Therefore, behold, I will allure her, bring her into the wilderness. See that? The Lord of hosts changed not. Therefore, behold, I will allure her, bring her into the wilderness, speak comfortably unto her, and I will give her vineyards from the wilderness. You're going to bring her back to the land of Israel, from the wilderness, and bring back to the land. And I will give her vineyards from thence, in the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth. Check it out. As in the days of her youth, as in the days when she came up out of the land of Egypt. See that? Egypt happened first, then Babylon. Now let's go right quick somewhere else right quick. And you got to sit down and sometime or another and figure out how the hell I know this. Come on. So anyway, go to Zephaniah. Nothing new under the sun. So we in Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. Talking to us, right? For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may call upon the name of the Lord and serve him with one consent. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. See that? West Coast, Africa. That's what we got to go back to. Not back to Israel. He's going to return us to the place from which he brought us from. So the Americans and the Gentiles came and got us from the West Coast of Africa. So he got to return us from thence where he got us from. Then from there, we go to the Israel. Right here. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. My supplements, even the daughter of my birth shall bring my offerings. In that day, thou shalt not be ashamed for it. So there you go, right here. Just like clockwork. Okay? So let's go back over here. He says in verse 16, it shall be at that day, said the Lord, that thou shalt call me Isha, and shall call me no more Balaam. For I will take away the names of Balaam, these false gods. It's like now, we're dealing with JC, Allah, Buddha, all this bull crap. Ain't nothing new under the sun. So he says, in that day will I make, for I will take away the names of Balaam out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day I will make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, with the creeping things of the ground, and I will break the bow and the sword and the battle axe out of the earth, and I will make them to lie down safely. So what are he talking about? What did he do when I told you? What did he do when he went to Egypt? He brought the creeping things, the beasts of the field, and all that, and destroyed Egypt. Right here, the same thing. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground, and I will break the bow. He's going to use the same thing right here. I will break the bow of the sword out of the battle axe of the earth. That's our enemies, where we scattered at. He's going to use these things right here. Beasts of the field, creeping things, like he did before. And I will make them to lie down safely, and I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, and I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment. See that? And in loving kindness and in mercies. What mercies? David tender mercies. Okay? Not Yahushua tender mercies. And I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord, and he shall come. It shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, said the Lord, and I will hear the heavens, and thou shalt hear the earth, and the earth shall bear the corn. You go to corn and the wine again. And the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy, and I will say to them which were not my people, thou art my people, and thou shalt say, thou art my God. That's what I just read that in Isaiah 44, 1-5. We was throwed off, he poured his spirit out on us. Now we saying he's our God. We turning to him. There's nothing new under the sun. You go to blueprint right here. If you get out of the New Testament and throw JC away, you'll see it too. Okay, any comments or questions? I'm gonna stop right there.
I have a question. This may sound a little crazy, but when you were reading, talking about Esau and Jacob, you know, how there's been some manipulation of the scripture, they make Esau out to be the victim in this situation.
That's the purpose when you understand what they have done. They on the DL, they're making it look like Jacob was a surplanter. He was a con artist, but we know that Esau came to him and asked him, sold his birthright to him. He didn't manipulate him. So that's another sign to see who the culprit is. They got a whole entire book.
Yeah,
you can see that it's got examples all through there where he blatant lies.
Yeah, the
And
person that
we
tells the story.
that's how they incorporate them.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was just saying the person who tells who's in power tells the story.
Right, he telling the story, and once you awaken, the Most High comes and pour His Spirit out, and you start being awakened. You can see the blatant lies. But somebody that don't, they steady trying to make all this bull crap work when it ain't got nothing to do with us.
Shalom.
Yeah.
Was when she was giving birth to Jacob and Esau, the maiden, the lady who was helping, she put a red string around Jacob's arm, but Esau pulled him back, and he came first. That's how. So the rightful title goes to Jacob, being the king, because he was first to come out, but because Esau pulled him back.
Esau was the first to come out.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought Jacob was the one who grabbed his foot.
Yeah.
Who had the red tie? They tied the string around Esau.
You talk about when another set of twins was born by Judah. They tied the red string around his hand.
Oh, okay. Forgive me. Thank you.
Let me go there right quick. You gotta go to Genesis, I think it's 12 or somewhere in there. Let me see. Yeah. Nope. I think it's, let me see. 20. Maybe 38. I believe that's what it said. 38. Yeah. So you go to
38 and 27.
Yeah, 27. Right. It says this is when Judah and Tamar got hooked up. It came to pass in the time of her travail that behold, twins were in her womb. See that? Now this just shows this is another example. It's twins over there, but they ain't saying it. Just like it was twins in the Adam and Eve. Esau, Cain and Abel, twins. But anyway, it says, and it came to pass in the time of her travail that behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, "This came out first." And it came to pass as he drew back his hand that behold, his brother came out. And she said, "How hast thou broken forth? This breach is upon thee." Therefore his name was called Perez. And afterwards came out his brother, and that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerah. Right? So Zerah, when you understand, is where we came from, following Zerah lineage. So this other boy right here stuck his hand, came out first. I mean, snatched his brother back in, and he came out. But our lineage lead through Zerah. So like I was saying, when you understand this right here, it says 30. Afterwards, he came out and no, go back up, 29. And it came to pass as he drew back his hand that behold, his brother came out, and he said, "How hast thou broken forth this breach?" So what's a breach? So the breach is that it's a system in place. The firstborn is the one that get all the blessings. He get the blessing and all that. So this boy right here snatched the other one in, and he came out. So he put a breach in there. So you say, what are you talking about? Go to JC. The Most High just told us he got a covenant with David that every king that sit on the throne of Israel has got to come out of David's lineage. So go to the story they told us. JC is the angel overshadowed Mary. He ain't out of David lineage. So you can read this right here. How was a breach? How is this so? It came to pass as he drew back his hand that behold, his brother came out. And she said, "How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee." Same thing. JC, he ain't out of David lineage. Angel code. He was immaculately conceived. Every king in Israel got to come out of David's lineage.
And it's not by Mary.
Yeah, exactly. It's a breach. You supposed to turn right there. Like David said, when you see that, don't go to the left or to the right. It's a breach. If his angel overshadowed Mary, then he ain't the son of David. It's a breach.
And that's and how they explain that is to say that the faith is determined by the woman. That's
Right.
how the other part of how they switch that up.
Right, and that's another example. That's another example of what you just said. That's Esau. Esau, the one followed the woman's lineage.
Yeah.
Because he got those giants when he married those Horite women. That's why he followed the woman's lineage. He got his strength when he married those giant women, and he got Amalek, he got Zephno, he got a couple of other boys out of that. They was giants. That's why he said that one gonna be stronger than the other one. So Esau married into that redhead giant lineage. So he followed his might. He got this might from the woman. That's why he followed the woman's lineage. But Israel don't follow the woman's lineage. He followed the man's lineage. So right there, that's another example of him imposing his will on us. That's why you gotta, like I said over and over again, think like a Hebrew, not like an Edomite.
And you know something else I just thought about? You know, another thing that they're trying to do to change us is this whole idea of women following, women keeping their name and not taking a
Right.
man's name.
Yeah.
That's another subtle thing.
That's rebellion. That's rebellion.
Yeah. You're supposed to go into the man, not the man into the woman.
Exactly. Right. They flipped it all the way down. Look at same-sex marriage. All that is that they imposing their will on us. And like I said, at the same time when the Most High poured the Spirit out on you, you got to ask yourself, what's the deal? Because I mean, how you going for that? And like I said before, he said that we was going to be at a point where we was going to be in a dry land and thirsty. And he's going to pour his spirit out on us. So if you still walking around in a dry land and thirsty, shit, you need to do something, because something ain't right. His people, he waking them up. They vibrating. Come on.
Right, Shalom. I wanted to say something on what Tasha said about, the women keeping their names, right? On how much they have just twisted all of this. And like you said, they've imposed their will on us, right? To the point to where we're going out looking for a husband.
Exactly.
The women are going to look for a husband.
Right.
The women are on these dating apps more than men looking for a husband. That's not the way it goes. We see that all throughout the Old Testament. So as you were reading, Brother Leonard, I know we're getting ready to get off, but this just really caught my attention when you read Hosea chapter 2, verse 9, where it talked about her nakedness, right? And you spoke of the man nakedness is his wife. So that goes back to the same thing that's in Ezekiel, right? In Ezekiel, when it talks about the adulterous wife, right? So I was thinking about that. We got to go back all the way back to Genesis, right? With Noah, right? Where they talk about that. And now they have taken it, and I was watching this the other day. They took this rainbow, you know what I'm talking about, right? And tied it to this story and said that it's always been here since the beginning. Like, they just totally off with the way that they explain things, the way that they want to make what they're doing okay.
Oh yeah.
When it's not okay.
Right.
And I really thought about that when you was reading that and going back to Ezekiel chapter 16. And then I said, okay, we got to go all the way back to Genesis, because I know you talked about that before, and where you talked about the nakedness, and that explains, a whole lot.
Right. So after that, every time you see that word nakedness, it's a light bulb go off, because you got to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't understand what nakedness is over with Noah, then you lost. You on Prim Road. That's just like with the breach. Let me show you this right quick. I just showed you what a breach was. A breach is when you take that king that David had, that's on the throne out of David's lineage. When you take him off the throne, it's a breach in Israel. That's a horrible breach. That king got to be out of David's lineage. So let's look at it. We're in Isaiah right quick. Show you how crazy this is. I'm in Isaiah chapter 7, right? This one of these things that say supposed to be they say it's JC. It's a prophecy of JC right here. 7 and 14. So it says in verse 14, therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, shall call his name Emmanuel. So they saying right here, they just come out just out the blue, got this verse. It says that's JC. That's a prophecy of JC. But when you go to verse 1 in that same chapter, and it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, this Ahaz out of David lineage, Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzi, king of Judah, that Rezin, check it out. Ahaz is the king out of David lineage on the throne of David, right? It says, then Rezin, the king of Assyria, and Pecan, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was told the house of David, see that? Told the house of David, which is Ahaz, saying, Syria is a confederate with Ephraim, and his heart was moved, and his heart of his people, and as the trees of the woods are moved with the wind. Then said the Lord unto Isaiah, go forth now and meet Ahaz, thou and Sheshbazzar thy son, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the fuller's field, and say unto him, see that? He talking to Ahaz. Say unto him, take heed and be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the two tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Assyria and the son of Remaliah, here you go. Because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, son of David, Ahaz. Now here you go. This is their objective. Let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, son of Tebal. So they want to take David's son seed off, take Ahaz off the throne. That's a breach right there. That's the same thing. That's the whole purpose of the New Testament. They put a breach in Israel when they put JC on the throne. He ain't not a David's lineage. It's a breach. And he just said right here in verse 6, let us go up against Judah, vex it, and let us make it a breach therein. And the Lord himself, Lord of hosts, says it's evil. It's evil counsel. Yeah, here it is. 5. Because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee. So that's what they've done to us. Took evil counsel. Psalms 83. They put a breach in Israel. Got the Israelites dealing with this fictitious character that they concocted. He ain't no son of David. And that's the first step you got to do. If you're gonna find your way back to the Lord of hosts and back to the true Redeemer of Israel and get some understanding, you gotta get rid of that idol. You gotta close up the breach. Okay, everybody good?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, let me get this right here.
Brushes with Colgate Total Platinum.
Okay, I'm gonna say shalom, and another shalom. I see see y'all tomorrow for the men's advanced Bible study on Clubhouse. So 7 to 9 Central Time. Shalom.